Hello and welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Sunday. It is July 20th, and this wraps up the first race week over at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club Summer Meeting. So I've got a few win bets that I like throughout the early part of the card. So we're going to get started over at Del Mar with a little theme music. So as Bing Crosby mentioned, where the turf meets the surf, we're going to be covering Del Mar today. So let's get started. Started in the first race. First race has an approximate post time at 2 o'clock Pacific time. So that's 4 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone. And there's a mile on the grass, and these are maiden special weights. They're open company horses, 3-year-olds and up fillies and mares. So nice field of horses signed on here. And, maybe some potential stars here. I do have a win bet I want to make on a price here. And actually, you know what? Let's make it a win-place bet. I mean, if you've been following the Del Mar picks, my horses have really had seconditis. It's been a little frustrating. So we'll make a win-in-place bet, especially because it should be a good price here. So going to go with the 9-horse, who is Judith. Judith, trained by Jonathan Thomas, Augustin Stables. Vincent Chaminade takes the call. So now these guys have definitely done a lot of work together, a lot of nice work together in California and elsewhere. They're making a nice team here. Chaminade's been riding nicely in his first couple days here at the meeting. And, we know Thomas can certainly train and win races. So this horse is a maiden. She's a 3-year-old. She's by Speightstown out of Informed Decision. And if that name sounds familiar to you, it should. Informed Decision was a champion filly and mare sprint. I can't remember where I think she might have won at Santa Anita. She won the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint several years ago. But she was a really, really nice racehorse on the racetrack. And she's definitely had some winners, that she's, produced. So this is a homebred. This is all Augustin Stables. Informed Decision was an Augustin Stables horse, and they bred this horse. Now, Judith is 8-1 today. She comes off one race, and that race was last fall over in Keeneland. And she ran in a maiden special weight there. Big field signed on there, as usually is in Keeneland. And, she wasn't a hopeless long shot. She was about 9-1, 10-1 that day. And I thought she just ran an even effort. Irad Ortiz was on her that day. Looks like, he just kind of got her around the track, made a little move in the stretch. And, it was probably a live racer. I think a couple winners came out of that race. So she comes off a break. She's been training nicely. I don't think there's too many standouts in this first race. So I think Judith at 8-1 is definitely a nice win bet, and make it a win-in-place bet, since we've been coming second. So the first race, Judith, the 9-horse, win in place. Now let's move on to the next race that I like here, and that being the third race. Third race, a 5-furlong grass race. This is a $32,000 grass race claimer. These are for 3-year-olds and up. These are older horses, these are boys. It's definitely some horses who have accomplished a lot on the grass, and their connections get realistic, putting them in the 32,000 claim here. Now that definitely applies to the horse I do like, being the 1-horse Tiger Hunt. Mark Glatt, Umberto Rispoli. Looks like Rispoli has some live ones today. Might get a multi-race winning day here at Del Mar. Tiger Hunt's 3-1 in the program. We'll see if he goes off at that price. If you look through the running lines on Tiger Hunt, he's definitely done well at Del Mar. Having 3 wins at Del Mar out of 8 starts, and 3 wins out of 8 starts at the distance. So certainly likes this 5-furlong grass course here. If you look at his PPs last year, he had a couple really nice races at this 5-furlong distance on the grass, running some big figures and running with better. So, I'm not too sure why the Glatt Barn's putting him in for 32. Maybe it's the kind of thing, he's run out of conditions. So, if you want to claim this horse for 32,000, you can do that. And Red Barons is a pretty big outfit. Red Barons, Rancho Temescal are the owners. They're a big outfit there, so they probably don't mind losing a horse here and there. So, that's not really our cause for concern. We're bettors, we're horse players, so we're looking for the win today. So I think Tiger Hunt ends up working out a pretty nice trip. There's some speed signed on outside of him. In the outside gates, The 10-horse Noble Reflection, certainly a grass speed horse we've seen on the California circuit for a long time. I kind of wonder if this horse might see better days. We'll see. But this horse certainly should be out and running fast. Maybe a couple horses inside of him can do that as well. But I think Tiger Han works out a wonderful trip. And we've seen Umberto Rispoli do some really nice work on these grass races at Del Mar. So we'll make a win bet on the one-horse Tiger Han in the third race. All right, now let's move over to the next race that I do like, that being the sixth race of the day. Now, the sixth race is a mile on the dirt, and these are maiden special weights as well. These are 3-year-olds and up, and some nice horses, some big purchase prices here. So maybe we'll see some future stars out of this race, as well. So I'm going to make a win bet on the 2-horse Cheever. And, for you NHL fans, Cheever was was a Stanley Cup winning goalie for Boston way back when. So if we've got any viewers out in Boston, and you were a Bruins fan, check me on that or confirm me on that, either one. But I thought Cheever was one of their outstanding goalies way back in the day. But we do have another horse here in a race called Penalty Box. So I don't know if that's a hunch play for you hockey fans, but I'm going to make a win bet on the 2-horse Cheever. Cheever out of Mark Glatt's barn. Antonio Frasu takes the call. Cheever's had a couple starts already over at Santa Anita. This horse by Into Mischief out of a Curlin mare, big purchase price. He was $700,000 at auction. There's several big purchase prices in here. Cheever's 7-2 today. I'm not sure. We might get something like that. In the win pool, we'll see. I do like Cheever's first 2 races. His first start out, ended up running in a 6.5 furlong race, came third to a horse named Southern Gentleman, and then Sierra Silver came second in that race. Now, Southern Gentleman was a Baffert first starter who was just rare in the role that day, ended up winning a big race, there. And Sierra Silver, who was very ready to win as well, ended up coming second there in that race. So Cheever came third. I thought made a really nice account of himself. Nice buyer speed figure there. And then, we moved to the second race of Cheever's career. So Cheever ran up against Sierra Silver, who Sierra Silver was certainly ready to win, and he ended up taking care of the business. So I don't really fault this horse. If you're a buyer figure proponent, the buyer figure went down a little bit. I don't think that's a problem. I think that, a horse like this could have certainly bounced off a first, big race effort, but I don't think that was a bounce at all. I think he just got beat by Sierra Silver, who was really ready to win. He ended up getting a first run on him. Cheever, I thought, ran outstandingly. And, this move to a mile, this would be the first time 2 turns, shouldn't be any problem for a horse like Cheever, as I mentioned, by Into Mischief out of a Curlin mare. That's certainly his distance up and down. This horse should progress, with a mile race there. So I really like Cheever today at 7-2. Going to make a win bet on Cheever in the 6th race at Del Mar. Now, in the latter half of the card, I think it's really tough. I don't have any pick 5s or pick 6s today. It's just been tough there at Del Mar putting together the multi-race sequences. So we're just going to go with the win bets today. And let's recap the day and recap the tickets. Okay, so for today at Del Mar, Sunday, July 20th, we've got 3 win bets to make the day here. We're going to start out in the first race. We're going to bet the 9, Judith, win in place. The third race, we're going to bet the 1, Tiger Han. And then the 6th race, we're going to bet the 2, Cheever. Make a win bet on that. So that's 3 win bets today. If you decide to make these win bets, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to use these picks, to key off some of the multi-race wagers, a couple of these races are in the first pick 5, or bet the pick 3s within it. Whatever you decide to do, I do wish you the best of luck. Let's wish the folks over at Del Mar a very safe day of racing today. Let's wish ourselves some good trips. As we've seen at Del Mar, those good trips really matter and really, can produce some nice results. So whatever you decide to do, again, best of luck. I thank you so much for watching Fast Horses today and listening to the picks. Thank you so much. There's been a lot of new subscribers over the past weekend. Definitely appreciate you, as well as I appreciate our subscribers from way back when. Thank you so much for hitting that button. If you haven't done so already, please do so. It doesn't cost you anything. Just delivers the content to you free of charge. You could like, dislike, make comments. I promise to respond to everything. So let's make it a great day at Del Mar and finish off this Sunday at place where the turf meets the surf. So let's cap off the week strongly, and we will see you back next week for more coverage at Del Mar.